Hey there, it's Farm Girl. I am getting Exoman on one of his honeydew tasks today. Guess what it is? Has to do with that. This is our toilet that came with the house, and
it's not.
It's kind of a fun toilet because it says church right there. And I always like to make the joke that I'm going to church.
At least you go to church, right?
Exactly. So, but Exoman's always complaining about it, and
well, it leaves a lot to be desired because it's, to me, a small toilet, and I'm maybe a large man.
Yeah.
If you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. It is pretty petite.
Yeah. So, and I need something more stately, a throne, if you will.
Yes. If you could get one that says church on it, that'd be great.
Well, I've got one, but it doesn't say church on it.
Damn.
But I'm sure we can go to a sign shop and get that emblazoned on the lid.
Yes.
If you like. But let me show you what I got.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
It's a Kohler.
Ooh. Nice.
Yeah.
Looks big.
It was one of the ones
Deep.
yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I wanted, is an elongated bowl. Because never mind. So yeah, that will be very, very nice. Let's get it out of the box and we'll take a look at it.
All right.
Do you like it so far?
I like it so far. It's Blanco.
Huh?
It's Blanco.
Yeah, it is a white toilet, not the biscuit.
The biscuit? Oh.
No, not the biscuit.
Yeah. Ooh, wow.
Don't hurt your back.
Oh, man.
You know, it comes.
How much does this weigh?
Let me feel it.
100 pounds?
That weighs 48,
No, that weighs more than 50.
45, 50 pounds.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Pick it up. Does it feel like a sack of oysters?
It feels like 65 pounds.
Okay. Well, we can put it on the scale. So anyway, look, it came with that, and
Is that the wax one?
that's a wax ring. Now, I have done toilet swaps
You have.
for 40 years.
A lot.
A
Yeah.
lot. And I used to work as a houseman in a hotel, and that's where I learned to do stuff like that. But I made a new discovery at the home improvement store, and that was that they have a new type of ring, and we're going to explore that. I brought one home for us to try out. And trying out a toilet ring, I don't know, man. If it fails, I got to take the damn toilet off again and replace it.
Not fun.
It's a foam ring, so yeah. Okay. All right.
Let's put it
Looks
in.
good. It's not broken. There's no waste in it.
Gross.
And I thought about getting the kind that had the smooth sides. In other words, you don't see the architecture of the toilet. It's just because it's easier to clean. But then I thought, I don't really clean toilets.
Yeah, Farm Girl would do that. It's fine.
I'm sorry. No, I didn't like it just looks so...
No, I put that attachment with the little brush on the end, and it's long and thin, and I just go back there. Every time I vacuum, I get all the dust and everything off of there, and it keeps it completely clean.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go take out the and it has a nice shape to the tank.
Wait, don't prove me wrong.
See, it has a kind of what do you call that?
Oh, yeah.
Oblique.
The
Or,
rounded. Yeah.
Or parabolic. I don't know. Come on. All right. Are you going to do it, or am I?
You are.
So you're going to need this. This is a how-to video for people who've never done this before.
Gonna need some gloves.
And it's a good idea to have gloves. I like to have those. And I've got a trash bag here.
I'm gonna bag the toilet.
This is the
so
new.
it doesn't leak.
Yeah. I'm going to bag the toilet. And I've got this newfangled ring that we're going to use. And, just a couple of things. I got some open-end wrenches. And I got the channel locks, just in case. And you'll need or maybe a razor if you have some caulk around the bottom of your toilet. You don't need a whole heck of a lot.
There's Exoman kneeling at the porcelain throne.
Oh, this brings back memories of the 80s. So there are a couple of other things you might need. One would be either a sponge or a dirty, old shop towel. A receptacle for water. You'll be using this to get the last bit of water out of your toilet. What you don't want is a big bowl full of water, okay? And before we go ahead, before you buy a toilet, make sure the toilet's going to fit your space. In other words, do you have a cramped, is it going in a mobile home or a trailer where you don't have enough room for an oblong toilet? So make sure that your clearance is good here. Measure the from the wall to the bolts, to the toilet bolts. Okay, this is perfect. I bought a toilet that matches this rough opening because the rough opening for my drain is 12 inches. You see, so on the box of the toilet you buy, it's going to tell you if it's 12 inches or however many inches it is. This is perfect. It's just going to fit nicely over that hole. If it was further out, that would be fine. But if it's too close to the wall, your new toilet isn't going to go over your drain. All right? So first we're going to shut the water off. Okay? Then we're going to evacuate the water from the tank by flushing it. So we know that we don't have water in here. Okay? And then we're going to pop. That's not bad looking. We're going to pop, and you have to find out if you're going to need guts or not with your toilet. Most toilets have them, but make sure it's got all the pieces and parts. We're going to pop these covers off of these bolts. Okay, these are the floor bolts that bolt your toilet to the floor. So you'll need a tool to pop those off. Just get those out of the way. And then if you'll hand me one of those open-ended wrenches right there, Farm Girl, or both, yeah. And we'll get started taking the bolts off. And it'll take you a little while. A ratchet would be a lot quicker. This is a recent install, so it's not going to be hard at all. There's not a bunch of wax bound up in the threads or anything like that. Now these bolts are not fixed. They're just stuck under. I'll show you in a minute. They're in the ring that attaches to the floor, and they float in that ring because the holes are variable on toilets, and you want to have a little play. So that side's ready to lift off. Now I'm just going to do the same thing over here. Real quick. You don't need to see this. It's just a duplicate. So I'm pulling the nut off, and the plastic part that holds that nut, that cap. This actually holds that white cap right there. You see? That's all that is. So make sure to put your hardware aside in case you need any of it. You're going to get new hardware with your new toilet, likely. But I'm going to be moving this one, so I want to save everything. Now, we've got a couple of washers. We're just going to lift off these bolts. Okay. Now I'm going to reach under here. Can you see all the way under here? I'm going to take this off. Make sure that, nope, the toilet's not completely drained. So what I'm going to do is soak up some of that water with my towel. Because I just don't like to have a bunch of water all over the floor. You're going to have some on the floor, but might as well capture it while you can, right? I can't tell you how many times I've done this. And what a lot of people will do, especially with larger toilets, is they'll separate the bowl from the tank from the bowl, this part from this part. And I don't do that, especially with small toilets, because I find that I can manhandle them and get them all out together. Okay. Now if you'll come under here again, we can remove this. Usually you can get them by hand, but now my hand is
Wet.
wet, so let me grab this. Okay. Just get it a little loose with your adjustable. Okay, there we go. Now, once I do this, my toilet is completely disconnected. It's no longer plumbed or bolted to the building. And before I lift it off, I'm going to take yet one more device that I didn't tell you about, which is a dog food bowl. Now comes the gloves.
I guess a paper cut would work too.
And it's going to be difficult for me to get my fingers in here because they're wet. But no worries. They're wet and they're big fingers. They're sausage fingers. So there we go. We're just going to get that. Every bit of water I get out of this toilet is water that won't be on the floor for Farm Girl to clean up.
Yes.
So I'm sure she's happy that I'm doing this.
Yes.
And when you yank the toilet off of the wax ring, you're going to have to pry it a little bit. And you're gonna tilt it, and it's when you tilt it that the water comes out. If you lift it straight off, it's not really going to leak out of the bottom, but when you tilt it, it will leak out the bottom. Now, normally I wouldn't do anything more than that, but I want to show you what you can do. Look, it's like a little boat in there. So you can take your rag or your sponge and stick it in there.
Get the rest.
There's some mineral deposit down in here. That's another reason to get rid of this toilet. Okay, and then
yeah, they were just. That was there when we got here.
that's just for kicks and giggles. Put both gloves on. Those big hands. All right, so ordinarily I wouldn't go that far, but that's really going to save you from having to deal with a lot of extra water.
Hey, and you can clean those mineral deposits out of there while you're at it.
Yeah, take this sucker out of here and pressure wash it if I want to. Let's set that aside. Now, another option, I brought this in just to show you. If you don't want to bag the bottom of the toilet like I'm going to do, you can just use this. This is a small cement mixing tub. You can get these for, I don't know, $5 or so at your home improvement stores.
And then you carry it out in that?
Yeah, but take note, when you set this toilet down in there, if you do that, you're going to get a bunch of wax on your toilet. We'll take our bag, and I'll show you both options at once. If you've never done this before, you might not think of this stuff. This is all stuff I've had to improvise over the years. You want to get a big enough bag if you're going to do this, and you might need a helper. So lay that open. It may be big enough. If it's not, no problem. Okay, now we're going to take our toilet. Don't hurt your back.
Use your legs.
Simply lift it and lower it into your bag for the time being.
Ew.
Now that's a wax ring, ladies and gentlemen.
Disgusting.
And what I'm going to do is let's give you a look at beneath this.
Wait, now are you going to spill the rest of the water?
Yeah. But it'll go into this bag. There's just not much in there. Disgusting?
Pretty gross.
Yeah, that's just wax.
Oh. Yeah.
You see that? Now you're going to want to take this wax with your hand or with a scraper like I have and get it all off of there. And you might, look, I don't have a drop of water coming out of this thing. And you might want to go ahead and set it in another container just to get it out of the way. You just want to make sure that your contacts don't have a bunch of buildup on them. All right, so that's pretty good. Now, This is the flange that the wax is put on when these things are manufactured. Okay, so take that and scrape it off of the set ring. I tell you what, the first time I replaced the toilet, I was like a kid working in a hotel, and nobody showed me how to do it. I had to figure it out and run to the hardware store a bunch of times. Don't get don't get a bunch of wax down in there. You don't want to pollute your septic system or your pipes with wax. So we'll just get that and set it aside. Boy, those dog food trays come in handy.
Mm-hmm.
And try not to do what I did and get the wax on that nut, because then if you get the wax all over that bolt, you're going to have it coming up around the edge, yeah, onto the base of your bowl. So that's pretty much enough cleanup, unless you just want to get really, really tidy and, I don't know, take acetone to it or something. Now we're going to go ahead and spray this down and clean it while we have the toilet off of here. Okay, so this is all cleaned and disinfected. What you see there is just some residual wax. That is not a problem. You don't even need to struggle with that. And there's some glue in the inside of the toilet on the bevel. That's just not an issue, cosmetic. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and open this up and show you. It's got a bunch of features. Supposedly it seals like wax, clean and easy, no mess, antimicrobial. Now this is supposed to be a specialized kind of rubber, good rubber that doesn't, it's going to collapse with the weight of the toilet, but hopefully it will hold, You've got some new bolts in here in case you need them. And there's your flange. It goes down in the opening. And you've got two different rubber gaskets. This for an extra height. I don't know. Let's see. Try this one. Okay. So this is option one, is the newfangled foam ring, and the old option is this. What they've given me here is the lower cost ring. This is a thin ring. I can tell by the size of the box. A lot of them have that much meat, maybe almost twice the depth. And look at that hardware in there too. So you got beaucoup hardware. Wow, this wax ring didn't even come with the what do you call it? The flange that goes down in the toilet. That's interesting. The part we threw away. So that's just a wax replacement, which it's kind of crappy, if you'll pardon the pun, because that means you have to, when you're doing a toilet job, if you're replacing just the wax ring, you're going to have to clean that nasty thing off, all the wax, and then
reuse the flange. Peel
this off and put this wax on that flange. Yeah, and I'm not calling it by the right name, but so we're going to go ahead and use this one. And let's see, it's kind of nifty that goes down on that bolt. So you want to make sure the red and the rubber go down. And what's kind of cool about that is that will set up your bolts to be in the proper location. Again, these bolts, let me put a glove on. I don't like playing with this stuff. You're not going to find any poop in here for those of you who are squeamish. That all flushes down that hole pretty neatly. What you're going to have is just bacteria and just build up of growth, like bacterial growth, like scum, like septic scum. Okay. So let me show you real quick. You get the idea that these bolts move around, okay? You want to make sure that they're in the right location, which is about there. And I find that's one of the good things about wax, is you can use it to immobilize these a little bit, because you might bang them with the toilet when you're dropping it down. And if they've got a little buildup of wax on them, they stay in position. And these are what they look like. They got a little catch part that goes under there and locks it. You can slide it right out like that. In case that's a mystery to anyone, I wanted to show that. Okay. And then the idea is that this part will seal the porcelain ring will drop down in there and it'll create a seal around it. Okay, so I've opened up this hardware and I found 2 useful plastic washers, just as good as the new ones. And again, they've got that wax on them. So these are handy. They kind of lock them down. Hold them steady because they want to tip, you know. So push those down as far as you can. Now, this is too high. Manufacturer specifications are, if this is below the surface, you're going to need this for elevation. Since this is above the surface, this flange, we're going to put on the smaller ring, the thinner ring, that will give us less depth, but hopefully still have good contact and good seal. Right?
Here goes the toilet, the new toilet.
Now, I'll tell you honestly, what I like to do is place the whole toilet. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and set the new tank on the toilet, because it's a pain in the butt getting up under here and getting these bolts on.
Oh yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and get that tank. Now, you do you. You might want to do it the other way.
You do you, boo.
Yeah. But this is the way that I like to do it. And don't be so sure that you're not going to be making an extra trip to the hardware store. You see there's 3 bolts down in there and they go through those holes, and Farm Girl's got the hardware. See the black bolts? And so we're going to put one set on each. Alright, now this is going to take a lot of rotations, these 3. You don't want to over tighten these either, because what you'll do is break this porcelain and then your toilet is shot. So you push, I'm pushing on the top of the tank, on the bolt inside of the tank, and I'm screwing that on. Now I'm going to come over to the other side and do the same thing. Now I'm going to take the 3rd set and put them on the back. This usually isn't a hand tightening job, but more of a job for your wrench or your ratchet. At this point, if you're careful, you can flip it back on a soft surface. Don't break your bowl doing this. Don't tweak it a bunch. Can you see in there? See the seal in here? Mm-hmm. You're really just snugging up this rubber gasket against this. See, now I can see there's still play in there. I don't want a whole bunch of play in there. And you can see that's moved. There's movement right there. Mm-hmm. So that one I'm going to tighten down. So you just keep going, rotating, you know, back and forth like lugs on a car. And you don't want to get it much past the point where it's not moving. I've done this enough times to know how to do it. And I like to do it like this. And then if I have to tighten it more when I fill the tank because it's leaking, I can go back behind there and tighten it just a little more. Yeah, that looks good. Now, careful, don't break your bowl. Let's get this sucker on there. Now, the one important thing is, I was saying earlier, you might make another trip to the hardware store, because in a case like this, where you don't have a nice flexible pipe, I should have gone ahead and bought a hose instead of this pipe. But these pipes you can bend. They're very flexible metal. But with any luck, it's going to meet exactly. And if not, I'll switch over to a hose. But see, I'm sighting my washers, or my bolts, and I'm dropping down, and I've gotten it right on my ring. You can see it's kind of sitting, see how it's moving like jelly? It's sitting right on that nice big foam ring. And I know that I've got enough height because the toilet is above the ground. Okay.
So what does it do? It just smashes that ring?
Yeah, it's going to smash that ring down and create a seal. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and secure the toilet to the floor. Now, some people will put the plastic piece first and then the metal washer, metal against metal, but I'm going to put it like this. This is actually how it was installed originally. With my open end wrench, I've tightened those bolts down, and I'm gonna take my time. It's not wobbly now. It's fixed to the floor, but that ring is still collapsing. That foam is still collapsing. So instead of breaking the enamel by forcing it too tight too soon, yeah, that's about all I'm gonna do for now. We'll use it a couple of times and tighten it more later. Exactly. Now this, I got lucky. I think we're going to be able to make contact here. You see that? Usually you can hand tighten these and you're good. But if you just watch everything, because something may leak and you just have to tighten it. Okay. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is an installed toilet. We're just going to put the lid and the lid, the two lids on. I thought we were missing some hardware, but we have everything in the box. And yeah, that is my blood. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I was like, whoa.
I thought it was red paint that somebody had gotten in there.
Aww.
Let me get that. Now, let's see.
You're gonna go flying because it's not attached.
We have clearance. Okay.
Nice work, Exoman.
All right. Well, thank you. Thanks for your help. And I hope that helps somebody out there. It's just not that hard of a job, is it?
It's kind of gross.
It can be a little gross, but if you take precautions and use the steps I showed, there's no mess in here.
You better attach that so that I don't go flying.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So, shall we fire it up?
Let's do it.
All right. Now here is when you want to watch here for leaks and watch here, anywhere you've made a connection. Let's see. Showing up pretty good. Yeah. No leaks.
Can you turn it on so it goes faster? So it fills up faster?
No, not really. It's not that kind of valve. It's just a single. I love this kind of valve. In fact, I've replaced a lot of the old valves that you have to screw and screw and screw with this single flip. Watch. Done.
Oh,
Off,
that's cool.
on. FYI, I hate this toilet seat design. Look at that. No matter what I do, I can't get it straight. See how it's not even? Just terrible. Bad job on the seat cooler. You shouldn't put crap like that in with a nice toilet. Pardon the pun. Well, I guess we might have to get a nice seat to replace the one that Kohler threw in the box. All right, I hope that helped. Thanks for watching.